What's up everyone, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be reviewing those deep section carbon wheels, particularly the L6, so 60mm deep, from the company called Atelian. They have a claimed 25mm inner width and a claimed outer width of 34mm. So I would say, before we get into the review, let's start with the unboxing and let's find out if all those are true. Let's go. So here we got some spare spokes, tubeless valves, and some tubeless rim tape. What do we have here? Atelian branded socks. Nice, thank you. But let's get to the most exciting part. Seems very lightweight already. We're gonna put them on the scale in a second. All right. So these are the L6 wheels from Atelian. This is the rear one. We already see, I don't know if you can see it from there, very white inner width, nice black glossy decals, nice matte black rim in general. I like that look already. Let's look at the rear wheel. 3 years warranty, lifetime crash replacement. This policy aims to protect your investment in Atelian technology by enabling the first owner of eligible Atelian wheels access to discount on replacement parts, rims, spokes, hubs, and nipples in the event of a crash or similar accident on all road surfaces in line with the intended usage of the wheel. So that's kind of nice that that's a lifetime crash replacement. Pre-hub sound check by accident, but yeah, that sounds really nice. I really like the look of these. Nice understatement kind of branding, black on black. The L6 on the bottom, also very white inner width. I'm gonna get the calipers out so we can do a quick measurement of the inner width of those beautiful wheels. So let's have a look. Let's zero those calipers and let's see the inner width. We're here at 25.3. That's the rear wheel. Front wheel I think should be the same. All right, 25.35. So very nice and chunky and consistent front and rear. So now I would say let's weigh them, get them on the scale, and let's see how lightweight those actually quite deep wheels actually are. So let me get my trusted coffee scale here. Let's start with the front. Move it out a little bit. That is 609.1. Let's take the rear wheel next. 698.1. I hope you can see that as well. 698.2. Let me see if I can put both on here and balance them nicely. So there you go, both together 1,307 grams. So I gotta say, very nice for a wheel set that is 60mm deep. So yeah, that's been the bit of the unboxing. Now I would say, let's get them on the bike.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding a road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need to go.
I'm on the Strada SS with the new Atelian wheels. Super nice. I've been riding those wheels for a while now, and I have to say, there are quite some upsides to them. The first one is, of course, they're pretty fast. I mean, these are 60mm deep wheels, so I think it would be weird if they wouldn't be fast. Of course, it also comes with a little bit of a trade-off because they are so deep. In places like this, which is an open field, pretty much an old airspace here in Berlin, it acts a little bit like a sail. But Actually, not to a degree where it gets dangerous or where it feels unsafe, but still, I mean, you have to keep that in mind that maybe riding free-handedly, even though I'm not capable of doing that anyways, but if you're that kind of person, that might not be the best idea with those wheels. But let's get back to the upsides. So 25mm inner width. I'm now running 30mm GP5000 tires with TPU inner tubes, and I have to say, you really feel that wider inner width. It is very comfortable. You can run the TPU tube at a lower pressure, or in general the tire at lower pressure, which is quite nice when it comes to reducing that harshness of the road and just giving you a little bit more comfort, while I feel that I'm not giving away any speed because of that. I mean, I guess also that deep section rim kind of makes up for that.
Let's go. Nice, 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 nice. Beautiful sunset. Warm. Spring's coming, I guess. So I gotta say, I really love this trend of wheels going wider. It's so much more comfortable when you go over bumps and stuff. Feels just way safer, more comfy, as I said, and I would say it's not slower, at least not with a deep wheel set like this one. I think on a day like today where there's no wind, this is the ultimate wheel set. Super fast, love it.
So let's talk about hubs for a second, and the free hub in general. The free hub is a beautiful 36-tooth ratchet free hub. So a trend that we see with a lot of wheels that are being released these days. I guess because the DT Swiss patent ran out, which I think may be bad for DT Swiss, but great for us consumers, because we can see those ratchets kind of everywhere. And I know that DT Swiss already is having another technology in their portfolio. So I think those guys are fine. And then also, when it comes to the bearings, there are some nice S&S ceramic bearings in there, so everything's super smooth as expected. And then when it comes to the spokes, as this is an aero optimized wheel set, of course we have nice wide carbon bladed aero spokes here, so everything is super stiff, very responsive. And with carbon spokes, of course, normally you would associate harshness with this, but also high responsiveness, which is a big plus. You also get this with this wheel set, so these are super responsive. But I have to say that I think when it comes to the harshness, it balances itself out quite nicely. So while when I was riding carbon spoked wheels with rather narrow inner diameter, you could really feel the harshness, also because you had to run the tire at quite high pressure. Now with those wider inner diameters or inner width and those wider tires running at slightly lower pressures, even with TPU, I mean, I don't think that you have that issue when you're running tubeless, because those pressures are just going to be way lower than that, and it's going to compensate for the potential harshness coming from carbon spokes. But even with this, even running this with TPU tubes, I feel it balances itself nicely out. So this wheel set doesn't really feel harsh to me. It is actually very comfortable, and pretty positive so far. Let's maybe talk about the looks and the brand. So I think in general I'm a big fan of understated design, a little bit undercover, a little bit Batmobile kind of vibes, which is why I really like that all their logos are kind of black, glossy on this matte finish of those wheels, so it's really not that much in your face. Especially I noticed that a lot of Chinese companies, I would say, when it comes to naming their products, sometimes it's a little bit suboptimal. And we might have another case here. It's not that bad, actually, to be honest. I mean, Alien, a little bit like Alien, kind of an odd name maybe for a wheel set, but still, as it is not really screaming at you while you're riding, or even when the bike is still, I think that this wheel set still looks baller and fantastic. So aesthetically, I'm a really big fan. Of course, brand name, you could argue about. I guess that's a very subjective thing. But then I gotta say, this wheelset so far, quite a happy surprise. I mean, I wasn't really aware of Atelian before. They've just popped up in some other reviews, and I really didn't expect that much from these wheels being sent out, which is why I'm really positively impressed. They're really a great ride, fun to ride, fast, comfortable, as I said. But yeah, I'd say maybe enough talking. Let's keep riding. So, we're back from today's ride, and it's time to come to a conclusion and a little bit of a summary around these Atelian L6 wheels. By the way, these are the L6 wide wheels. I think on their website I've seen a version of just the L6. They have a narrower inner width. So these are the L6W, I think. So just in case you're ordering, just watch out and take notice of the inner width of the wheels that you're ordering. I don't know if they're going to be replacing the old ones or not, but better to be aware of that fact. So overall, I think that these are really nice wheels. When Atelian reached out to me, I particularly picked this wheel set. So I wanted something that is kind of like at the extreme. So something that I can pick up when I'm riding with some of my friends, which are way faster and way stronger than me, that I somehow get any kind of support to be able to keep up with them, to make this bike as aero as it gets, or whenever I try to beat my own PB or PR, I think they're called, right? Here on Tempelhofer Feld, that these would be the wheels that I'd be taking out. Of course, you could also go for something that's a little bit more narrow from them if you are looking rather for an all-round kind of wheel set, but I already have a couple of those, and I wanted to see how is this extreme actually performing. So overall, as I already mentioned in the review, I think this is a great wheel set because it is dude, what the f is going on here? That's Berlin, no? There's a guy pushing a massive trash bin just on the street, like it's his car or something. Anyways, so coming back to the wheels, I think this wheel set really combines a lot of positive attributes in it. As I already mentioned, they are very responsive, they're very fast, and they're quite comfortable because of that inner width if you put wide tires on them as well. The only downside for me is crosswind sensitivity, I'd say. But I mean, what do you expect from a 60mm deep wheel set? If you don't feel safe when crosswinds are hitting you, then maybe don't get a super deep wheel set, get something that's a little bit shallower. But yeah, that's kind of like the only negative side point, which I think all other 60+mm wheels are going to share with those Atelian wheels. And overall, in general, I also think that these days, when you're looking for wheels coming out of China, it is very hard to make a wrong decision here. So if you're the kind of person that looks for a wheel set that performs and looks like this, I think you're gonna be very, very happy with this wheel set. By the way, Atelian was also so kind to provide a little affiliate code that I'm gonna add down into the description. But I think in general, when it comes to safety, which I think a lot of people are concerned about when ordering parts from China, I think that the days are over when you might be buying something from China that has questionable safety, at least when it's a Chinese name brand. Of course, absolutely don't buy any copies or something that's supposed to look like a brand product, but it's not a brand product, or you think it's coming out of the same factory because it looks similar. It's pretty surely not coming out of the same factory. But yeah, I'm not seeing any safety concerns with those wheels. I think you're going to be on the safe side there as well, at least based on my reviews so far. So of course, I'm going to be keeping those wheels on the bike a little bit more to see if I can break my own personal best here on Tempelhofer Feld, which might be tricky because I actually set it together with a friend of mine running in a pace line, just constantly altering our positions. I don't know, I'm sure there is a term for that, on how you call that constant switching. So it might be a little bit tricky, might take me a little bit of time to break that record by myself. But I think these are the wheels for it, and yeah, I just need a couple of non-windy days up here in Berlin. So I think this is going to be it for this little episode. What I want to do now, after I stop recording this, I'm going to do a swift FTP ramp test, so very fun times ahead. I think I haven't done this for over a year now, so I'm very curious to see where this lands me, but I feel quite fit, or my legs feel quite fit today, so let's see. I might make an episode out of that if I'm not gonna look too disgusting. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed this review episode. In case you have any questions towards those wheels, drop them down in the comments. As you know, I'm trying to get back to every single comment over a little bit of time. And if you watch until here, I hope it's not too much to ask to consider you hitting that like button, because it would help out a lot. And with that, I'll say thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.